How's it? Live show here for Wednesday, October 2nd, as we talk about the games for pretty much Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as we get ready for the weekend football. So, pretty excited about that. Um, so, one second here. Let me check something here real fast. Okay. So, what we have here, let me get the live link out so everybody can join us. And again, we haven't missed a live show in some time. I think I missed one on Monday, but overall, it's been pretty good. Um, we've been getting the live show to you pretty consistently, and we haven't missed a video since the 14th of September, so that's really good too. So there has been a video coming out every single day, which is always very good. And so yeah, so excited to get you this live show. What we're going to do is focus on the 8 games for what we're going to do is focus on the 8 games for today as we head into tomorrow, right? For Thursday's ball games. And I think what we're going to try to do is create a live show every day at 10 a.m. and try to and then we're going to try to have the daily video. We're going to try or by about 12 or 1 o'clock every day. Okay. So that's something that we're going to try for and see if we can have some success with that. And let me put out the final links here for public and to YouTube premium members. And then now let me give a shout out to who all is live with us right now. So who do we have here live with us? Let's see here. We got Rizwan and Victor who are with us, which is exciting. It might be just us, fellas. So we're ready to go. How's it? I see Commanders over Brown. Padres tonight, not tracking 8 games. Not tracking 8 games tomorrow. You mean to tell me there's not 8 games tomorrow? There should be between WNBA. I think WNBA starts Friday. WNBA starts back Friday. Baseball comes tomorrow. Baseball, there is 3 games tomorrow. NFL, there is a game. That's 4. And then college football, there is 2, so that's 6. And then, of course, we have all NFL all week. So we have plenty of games, and then it's college football all week too. So there should be plenty more than 8 games. So let's start here. Commanders over the Browns. So game number 1 here, the Commanders and the Browns. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, Washington comes in as a -3 favorite. Everybody's jumping on Washington. I guess Washington's good. I mean, I didn't think they were that good, to be honest with you. I went against them the previous week. I thought they were going to have a huge letdown, and they didn't. But that's, of course, Dan Quinn is getting a second chance at head coaching, and he's coming through. So that makes sense. Cleveland's 1-3. Cleveland beat them 24-10 last year. Cleveland comes off of a loss to Vegas and to the Giants, but did beat Jacksonville. Did they really come off? Did they really lose 3 in a row? I don't know. I mean, Cleveland was up 10-0. And then they fell short in their last game. I wouldn't say they played horrible. Watson passed for 24 for 32. But, of course, you got a very strong effort from Vegas because they were coming off that bad loss to Carolina. Washington beat Arizona and Cincinnati and the Giants. I mean, outside of that Tampa Bay game, they really shaped up big time. Now, of course, they have the Ravens on deck, and I hate to sort of be a homer here, but, I mean, given that Washington scored 42 points in the last game, and whenever these Browns win, they seem to play to the under, like that 18-13 game against Carolina. The only thing that sort of makes sense here is either taking Cleveland or the under, to be honest with you. So I like Cleveland or the under, but at this point, I don't really want to go against Washington either. But I do lean on the under here. So I would say Cleveland versus Washington. I would say lean on under, smaller lean on Cleveland as well. I do think Washington could have a letdown. I also think that I was impressed with how Cleveland played against Las Vegas, even though Las Vegas was furious after that Carolina loss, and Las Vegas was down, or Cleveland was up 10-0 in that game before Las Vegas came back to win. Victor, Syracuse versus UNLV. So the Syracuse versus UNLV game. So the Syracuse versus UNLV game. You have a 3-1 and a 4-0 team here. Syracuse obviously beat Holy Cross 42-14, beat Georgia Tech, beat Ohio. They come into this game as a 6.5 point dog. UNLV is getting a lot of, is getting a lot of hype here. Obviously, UNLV is ranked 23rd in the nation. They obviously don't have their quarterback anymore, which is kind of shady, but he'll get picked up by somewhere. Syracuse is only 2 points away from being undefeated, right? So UNLV rolls into this game, beating Fresno, Kansas, UT Houston, and this is a team that obviously they had a quarterback in Sluka, who is a very good player, but of course UNLV wanted to prove something to Fresno, and they had Williams come in through for 13 for 16. They had another quarterback that came in and played pretty well too. So it looks like he's going to be, a distant memory. Sluka's not going to be in the picture, and he's going to be a distant memory, to be honest with you. So I think UNLV continues to have something to prove, although Syracuse is a very, very good team. But I think UNLV on a national stage will want to prove something. And I think they had a game underneath their belt prior to this. So I actually like UNLV quite a bit here. I think it makes a lot of sense for them. I think it makes a lot of sense for them to have some success, to prove something on a national scale, that they are somebody and something without Sluka. Okay. Moving on here. NFL, Green Bay versus the Rams. So the Green Bay game versus the Rams, interesting game here. You have Green Bay that obviously comes off that win recently. Rams, of course. So the Green Bay is 2-2. I'm sorry, Green Bay lost to Minnesota, but it was a bad game. They started off slow. The Rams, of course, come off of a loss to the Bears, so they're 1-3 at this point. Green Bay is, 20. They lost 29-31. Green Bay won 20-3, so the Rams do have a little bit of revenge there. The public does like Green Bay, of course, and Green Bay only had 86 yards passing last game. That's something to keep an eye on. But 380. Green Bay also had a quarterback in Jordan Love who threw for 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. He was kind of getting his feet wet. So the Rams come into this game, losing to the Bears, 18-24. 119 yards and 203 yards rushing and passing, 131 yards and 133 yards passing and rushing for the Bears. It's interesting. You have a Rams team here that, 63% are riding the Rams. The 48.5 is the total. I'd have to think that Jordan Love is going to have some success here. I like the fact the total's at 48.5 because, this team was much better in the second half. Green Bay put up 22 points in the fourth quarter, and I think they start off much faster. And then you have the Rams coming in, who actually faced a pretty good Bears defense, and they put up quite a bit of points. I actually like the over here. I think the over does make sense, and that's why the total is so high. I think between the Rams and the Packers, the over makes a lot of sense here. And therefore, like the over between Green Bay and the Los Angeles Rams. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to keep an eye on. Moving on to game number 4. Who's got it? What's poppin'? I see Nick. Great to see you, my man. NFL, 2 NCAA, and a couple of MLB. Yeah, and obviously we have college football and the NFL on Saturday and Sunday as well. MLB tomorrow, only if the Brewers and or the Braves win today. Yeah, I mean, I'm riding the 4. My baseball selection is on the under in the Braves Padres game, which to me looks good right now. And of course, the Mets are up too. I think we can hold off on these thoughts right now because I don't want to waste the 2 games on the Mets, Milwaukee, Atlanta, San Diego game. Let's just kind of wait to see what happens this game, and I'll have a live show for you tomorrow. I'm going to try to do a live show tomorrow for you at 10 a.m. Obviously, and I'm going to try to do the daily video by 12. So we'll try to hold off on that. Okay. Care to discuss the WNBA Friday? Curious about the Sun? Yeah, we can talk about that. It might turn into a premium selection. I'm not sure, but yeah, definitely. So the Sun, I mean, they come in as a 2-point chalk. 70% of the public is on them. The series, the split, obviously they've split 73-70. Sun won the first game, and Minnesota won 77-70. Total was 151.5 and 152.5, and they both went under. This one's listed at 151.5. The question is, how does Connecticut bounce back? Right. Connecticut only scored 70 points their last game, but when they win, they can put up a lot of points, like 87 against Indiana, 93, 87 against Chicago. When they lose, they don't put up a lot of points. 76 against Minnesota, 70 against Minnesota, 71 against Vegas. Connecticut only had 10 points in the first quarter and 30 points in the first half in the last game, and they shot 5 for 20. Neither of these games have gone over the posted total. And I think Minnesota actually didn't shoot that. I mean, they actually shot pretty not bad, but they had 15 turnovers in the last game. I actually like the over in this game. I think Minnesota wants to get back to home court advantage. I think they can be an active dog, certainly. And I think that Connecticut can certainly, when they do well, games have a tendency to go over. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, Connecticut, yeah. So this is their home playoff game. I think they'll shoot much better. Connecticut has scored a lot of points at home recently as well. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see this game go over the posted total. Okay. So moving on to game number 5 here. Who's got it? How are you? Lynx at Sun -2. What do you like the under? Nope, I like the over. Think it hits most times the play. Only way for the Sun to keep it close. I like the over because I think Minnesota can be an active dog, and I think that the Sun can shoot much, much better than they did at Minnesota. And the last time these two teams played in Connecticut, the game went over. Hey, Rizwan, Bills over Texas. Well, I mean, it's interesting, right? You have a Buffalo team that rolls in here 3-1, coming off a bad loss in Baltimore, only scoring 10 points. And they were already down 3-21 at the half. I mean, they were down big at the half, and Baltimore went 4-4 from the red zone, and they proved something there. Allen only passed for 189 yards. I told you that was a statement game for them, and it was. And then you have Houston here coming off that win against Jacksonville. They're also 3-1, and the last time these two teams met was in 2021 when Buffalo won 40-0. And then Houston comes into this game. It was pretty close actually the whole way through. And then Houston, finally pulled away. And Stroud threw for 345 yards. Literally, he threw for 345 yards. So as it relates to this game, you have two teams that are coming off of Buffalo's coming off a loss. So that's the reason why people favor Buffalo. I have to think a couple things here. One, Buffalo gave up 35 points in the last game. They're going to play better. You also have Houston here, who gave up 34 to Minnesota, but Houston can be sketched. They gave up 27 to Indianapolis. I'm going to keep it simple here. Buffalo versus Houston. I like Houston. I like Buffalo off the bad loss. It's very simple. And Houston's defense can be sketchy, and I like Houston. I think they got a little lucky there in their last game. And I wouldn't be surprised at all to see, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see them, their sketchiness kind of get exposed here. So I like Buffalo over Houston here as well. Moving on here. Game number 6. Who's got it? Jeff, hey, great to see you, Jeff Savard. FSU Clemson. Yeah, so FSU Clemson, man, FSU, what can you say, dude? I mean, it's just been one of those years for them. FSU rolls in at 1-4, but nobody will care about their 1-4 record if they beat Clemson, to be honest with you. You have a team here, FSU beat them 31-24 in overtime, so that's an issue for them. Clemson's playing great. They beat Stanford. They beat NC State. They beat App. Yeah, they lost to Georgia. Okay, that was their first opening game. FSU comes off a bad loss to SMU, 16-42, losing to Boston College and Memphis and Georgia Tech. But they've had a very, very difficult schedule. If you go back to that Clemson game against Stanford, and the fact that Clemson dominated Stanford, that's important because Stanford did really well, if you remember, against Syracuse on the road. So this is very important to notice here. Clemson had a lot of their quarterbacks gaining confidence. FSU rolls into this game. FSU was actually up 9-7, and then the wheels fell off. SMU just passed all over them. They made the necessary adjustments, and I got to be honest with you, I don't think it gets any better. I don't. I think Clemson. But the funny thing is 75% of the public's on Clemson. So maybe FSU was looking ahead to this game. Maybe they're going to play their heart and soul into this game. They did beat Cal at home, who's top 25 caliber. So I'm not trying to be a homer here, but I do think I wouldn't be surprised. The only thing I can't take FSU because they've been super sketch. They lose to SMU on the road. But I actually think FSU will have some success. And I think the way they will have their success is through their defense. So the only thing that makes sense to me is the under. I will say that Clemson, after facing Stanford and NC State and App, 40 and 59 and 66, I think they'll be a little shell-shocked here as FSU will play pretty decent defense. And after giving up 42 points to SMU, they're going to shape up on defense. So that under does make sense for me. Okay. Moving on here. Game number 7. Who's got it? Game number 7. Hi, I see Texas State, Troy. Yeah, definite lean on Texas State. GJ Kine is a very good coach. And the fact that Texas State lost back-to-back games coming in, they were actually favored against Arizona State, and then they fell short. So now you're getting a team who in Arizona State who's almost ranked. And the fact they lost as a minus 13.5 point chalk. They literally lost almost as a 13.5 point chalk. I mean, that's tough for them to swallow. So the fact they almost lost as a 13.5 point chalk in their game against Sam Houston, they were up 22-0 at the first quarter. So they're going to be super ticked off coming in. They've lost back-to-back years at Troy as well. I think when you put all that together, I think it does make sense for Texas State to have success on a national stage. So definitely lean on Texas State. How's it? Hey, V35, my first premium member video. Nice, man. Welcome aboard. I'm sure all the guys will. Sully's usually our welcomer, or Joey Skinner whenever someone joins. But Cardinals versus 49ers, revenge game for the Cardinals. Hey, Alex, great to see you. This will be game number 8, and then we're going to have to move on. So you're talking about the Cardinals and 49ers game. So Arizona just had a bad game. They're 1-3. They lost 14-42 and now 13-20. I guess people started to figure out their coach. San Francisco coming off a nice 30-13 win over New England. Arizona, losing 45-29 last year. Certainly a revenge game for them, but after giving up 42 points, I think they probably shape up here. I just think the wheels kind of fell off for them, to be honest with you. So I don't hold that against them too much. And if you're an odds, and Kyler Murray only threw for 142 yards last game, but if you're an odds maker, what else do you set the line? You should set the line at a touchdown favorite for San Francisco. And San Francisco, it was pretty good last game. They still rushed for 148 yards. Which is still pretty impressive. Mason, 123 yards rushing, so they seem to have picked up right where they left off. I actually like Arizona. I just think they come off such a bad loss. I think the only thing that makes sense here is that they bounce back here. Just losing by 20-plus points is not a good look, so I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Arizona maybe bounce back a little bit here. All right, fellas, that is the end. Let me see if there's any repeats here. Welcome, V35. Looks like you've already gotten welcome there, my man. Panthers, Bears, we'll try to get to that next video. How about Missouri, Texas? And we'll try to get that next time. Any Buffalo, Texas? Yeah, I like Buffalo as well. I like the Buffalo on the bounce back. Clemson, FSU. Rod, lean on the under there. Why is Washington favored over Michigan? We'll try to get to that in another game. I don't think Michigan is that good. I think Washington is actually good. We'll try to get to all these games in another day. We're going to have to get to that Washington game next game then. Make sure on the live show tomorrow at 10. You asked me about these games. What's up, IC? Tampa Bay over Atlanta tomorrow. Yes, Tampa Bay is my lean tomorrow for sure. It might be my free play. Tennessee, Arkansas. We'll try to get that another video. I'll definitely have that video. I'll definitely have that probably for you on Friday after the football card for sure. Will Denver Broncos continue to win? We'll try to talk about it another day. You already covered Texas State. I did. Come on, guys. Don't ask games I already covered. How will your Falcons fare on Thursday night? I like knowing Thursday. I like the Bucs. I like the Bucs. I just think the Bucs come off of that nice win. I think the Bucs are a better team than my Falcons, to be honest with you. I know the Falcons beat the Saints, so it's not a huge lean, but I do like the Bucs, and we'll talk more about it. But I definitely lean on the Bucs there. Because I think Tampa Bay showed a lot when they absolutely destroyed. And plus, this is their first conference game. This is the first division game. The Falcons have already played a division game. So that's why I like them. Okay. Word to your mama too, Robert. Word to your mama too. All right, let's do a recap here. So game number 1, Cleveland, Washington. First of all, thank you for being on YouTube Premium. I really appreciate you guys. Game number 1, NFL, Cleveland, Washington. I lean on the under in the game, and I actually have a small lean on Cleveland. Game number 2, Syracuse, UNLV. Lean on UNLV. Game number 3, Green Bay versus the Rams. I like the over in that game in the NFL. Game number 4 in the WNBA, Minnesota, Connecticut. I like the over there. Game number 5 in the NFL, Buffalo and Houston. I like Buffalo. Game number 6, Clemson, FSU in college football. I like the under there. Game number 7, Texas State versus Troy. I like Texas State. And game number 8, Cardinals versus the 49ers. I like the Cardinals. And one of our buddies always asks about which one is my favorite out of these 8. Probably I probably like Texas State. I think that sort of makes sense. But yeah, hope you guys are doing great, fellas. Yeah, I knew it. I knew. See, Steven, I knew one of you will ask me. Hope you guys are doing great. I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.